Hey everyone, it's Mike Sinitsky here with Rise Homes, and today I'm with Savanah Sanchez with HomeGuard Home Warranty. And today we're going to be talking about home warranties, what they're all about, why do you get them, and just get some general information about them. Thank you so much for making time today and telling us all about the home warranty process.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Why don't we start with, if you could just tell our buyers, our buyers out there, why in general they want to get a home warranty? Like what's the purpose of it? One of the number one questions I think is, what does it cover and why should I get it?
The biggest thing is to understand the difference between a home warranty and your home insurance. They work side by side. So your home insurance is there to help protect you for when things get damaged in the home. And the home warranty plan is there to protect you for the actual failures itself. So the home warranties are great to have. They cover so many different things in the home, like appliances, electrical systems, plumbing systems, plumbing stoppages, roof coverage, pest control. So that would include water heaters as well, are going to be included with that. And HVAC systems is a huge one. So I'd say the AC and the heater is going to be probably the biggest claim that we see with the home warranty plan, which is great for buyers, because when you're purchasing a home and something goes wrong and you need to repair or replace those big systems, the home warranty is there to help protect you and protect your wallet.
Very cool. And is there usually, and maybe I'm getting into the weeds here because it depends on the plan, but is there some sort of deductible associated with the claim?
Industry standard is going to be $85 deductible. Is what we're seeing now. And so the deductible is for each trade call. So if we have a plumbing trade call or a plumbing claim, we would charge the clients $85 when the technician services the home. But let's say they have multiple plumbing issues, like the sink's leaking and the toilet's backed up and there's multiple items on that ticket. We would only charge them for that one deductible. We wouldn't charge them per item. It would be just for that specific service call. But let's say they have an appliance, an issue with an appliance, and then they also have a plumbing claim. Well, with the home warranties, we send licensed and insured technicians to service the home. So we're not going to have an appliance technician really fix a plumbing issue and vice versa. So those would be two separate deductibles for each trade call.
Depending on the problem, essentially, by trade call, meaning depending on the problem, it's going to be individual every single time, separate call. Interesting. Yes. I didn't know that. How long do these warranties typically last? And can new homeowners, buyers, extend them past whatever period it lasts for?
They typically are a 12-month policy. Starting at the close of escrow. And then we do have our renewal team who reaches out to the buyers once they're coming up for renewal, letting them know that at that time they can either, renew the plan, update the plan, add coverages, or if they want to lower some of the coverages that they have and take off some of that. But we do allow them to renew and you can purchase a home warranty at any time. So, we do have our in escrow brochure and a buyer's plan. And then we also have an out of escrow as well. So if you do happen to, hold off and you're hesitant, but you decide later on, you can always add a home warranty at that point.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's super helpful because sometimes, when people are submitting an offer, they check the box that they're waiving their home warranty. And later on, maybe change their mind. So just to clarify, you can get it at any point in time during the home ownership, or is there a period of time where at some point, your company would say, this is kind of too late in the game and we won't be able to honor a warranty on this property?
Yeah. So again, anytime, if it's something that we don't have out of the gate with close of escrow, we typically, with our company, what we do is we put a 30-day hold. And that's just kind of like insurance for us, that there's no pre-existing conditions and they're not calling in a claim within that 30-day period. So after the 30-day period is when the 12-month coverage would start.
Okay, great. Maybe you could share with us a little bit more about the specific plans a little bit, if you could walk us through that.
Yes. So with home warranty, we have three different tiers.
Mhm.
We have our standard plan, which is going to be the basic plan. It's not going to include your AC.
Mhm.
It's typically not a plan that I suggest just because it is more limited.
Mhm.
And then it will go to our advantage plan. And that will include the AC. And then you'll also see that there are going to just be higher limits. And what I mean by that is, it is a limited warranty, right?
Right.
And so there are going to be limitations on that. But the higher you go in plans, the more coverage and the higher the limit gets.
Mhm.
So what the best way to look at that is saying, okay, well, that just means less out-of-pocket cost for me. Right? Because I have more coverage and the limit is higher. So the advantage plan is a good starting point for single family homes. It would start at $485. But if you wanted to add the washer, dryer, kitchen, refrigerator, that would be Advantage Plan Plus. And then we have the total protection. And that's the most comprehensive plan. It's my favorite plan by far, just because we want to make sure that we're saving them the most money. With that being said, the total protections limits are just provide so much more coverage. And so the big difference there is obviously going to be the higher limits, and then the exterior plumbing is going to be included with that. So the other two plans don't have that. But with the total protection, you do have exterior plumbing. So that's going to be your sewer line, your fresh water line, and then your gas line. There's an issue with that. We have that covered with the total protection plan. And then the total protection plan plus is going to be like the Advantage Plan Plus, where we include the washer, dryer, kitchen, refrigerator.
To kind of sum it up, these home warranties give first-time home buyers, something that we run into quite often is people buy a home. Obviously, it's not brand new. And there's always something that, the inspector might have not caught because it was inside the walls and a water line breaks or something happens inside the home that was just not visible during the inspections. And so, unfortunately, it's part of home ownership. And so it sounds like by getting these home warranties, it just gives you peace of mind, especially if you get your top tier package. Ultimately, it gives people peace of mind that they can move into the home. And if anything just randomly pops up, again, that wasn't caught in the inspection, or they might have not caught, or their agent might have not caught, because, we're human and we don't have x-ray vision. We can't see in the walls. This will step in and cover it. And of course, there are limits. But generally speaking, would you say that for the most part, let's say, the AC, I'd say probably one thing I see often is furnaces are old. People are buying homes, the furnaces are on the older side. And most of the time in the inspections, they're saying recommend replacement at some point in time soon. So, with your premium, the top tier plan, would you say generally that would be covered? Let's say you move into the home and a couple months later, that furnace breaks down on you. How much would it cover as a generality, right? I'm sure things change over time. And could you tell me a little bit about how that process would work if, if the furnace were to go down, or if the AC unit were to go down, or if a pipe were to burst? So sorry, two-part question is how much would it cover would people have any, aside from the deductible, would they have any out-of-pocket costs? And then how does that process look like as well when something occurs?
Yes, great question. So kind of circling back to what you were mentioning earlier about, furnaces or ACs being at the end of its lifespan. That does not mean that they aren't in good working order. How the home warranty works is we go based off of everything being in good working order. So with the intention that everything is working, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be working because we don't cover for things that are pre-existing. So if it's obvious to the eye that it's, the furnace is rusted out, it's never been maintained, and no one's ever cleaned it, we send a technician out there and they tell us, hey, this has never been taken care of. That would be something that would most likely be denied because it's it's obvious to the eye that we can see that it's never been taken care of. And it is unfortunate for the buyers because, moving into the home and it's not like they didn't take care of it, but it still falls on them. But let's say everything is working, it was working fine. It was at the end of its lifespan, but it was taken care of and it needs to be replaced. So let's go, with the total protection plan. There's not a limit on how much we would pay for the HVAC replacements. And that goes for the furnace or the AC, just because every home has, a different setup. So depending, so we would, typically go forward with the replacement if it's necessary. And then what you would see there is codes and modifications that are required by, the state or the county that they live in. Then you'll also have permits that are required. And sometimes you'll need a crane depending on where it's located. Sometimes HVAC systems can be on the roof. Yeah. So, it varies, but with the total protection, you get $1,000 towards codes and modifications. And that's fabulous. Like, that is amazing, because that's, again, where you would find your out-of-pocket costs with the other plans. Right. So when we get the total protection, it is allowing us to provide them the most coverage and kind of prevent that from happening. And then permits. So $250 goes towards permits that might, need to be purchased when the replacement is happening. So those are like the little things that looking over the plan, you don't really pay attention to, but do make a huge difference. Yeah. So there's that. And the same thing would apply to like a water heater, right? Because a water heater needs to be replaced. You're going to need codes. You're going to need permits, especially depending on how old the previous water heater was, because those modifications are going to be needed. And, sometimes we run into situations where homeowners are like, oh, is it necessary to do that? For our technicians, yes. They're going to always properly install a heater or a water heater. They're gonna make sure everything's done correctly. They're not gonna, of course, partially install it.
No Mickey Mouse work.
Yes, exactly. There you go. And then like plumbing. For plumbing, like you mentioned earlier, if it's inside the wall and you can't see that it's leaking, it's going to be like an unknown pre-existing. And that would be something that we would cover, because it's not obvious to the eye. We didn't know it was happening. So those are things. But again, if we send someone out there and they see that it's completely rusted out,
negligent, like neglecting the AC unit, or neglecting the water heater or the furnace, or there's obvious negligence of maintenance of the roof, things like that. Clearly, that's not going to be covered. But if it was in good working order, it was in serviceable condition, maybe in the home inspection, upon purchasing the home, then should be covered theoretically.
Yes. Right? Yes, that is correct.
So basically don't neglect something in the hopes that the home warranty company will replace it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's there for peace. It's there for peace of mind. And, just to bring up, oftentimes, people are going up to their maximum limits when they're buying a home, and really, they're down to, obviously they're leaving reserves in their account, so on and so forth, so they could take care of all their expenses that have regularly, and maybe whatever the bank requires as reserves in their account. But a lot of times people are moving into homes and they are, they don't have much left as far as cash availability, and they can't tap into those reserves. So again, these home warranties would help kind of give you that peace of mind. So when you're buying a home, you don't have to worry that, just because the furnace is old but nice and clean, if it, breaks on you, you'll have something in place for $85 deductible to come in and repair it or potentially replace it.
That is correct. And, let's say we're working on a budget, and, whether it be the buyer's agent or selling agent who's purchasing it, they have 60 days to change their plan. So let's say we do go with the Advantage plan, but the buyers are like, you know what, that's not the plan that I need. I need something that's going to, be more helpful to me, and that fits the home a little bit better. They can change that plan. And they would just pay that difference. So that is always an option. But, the home warranty, I can't tell you how many times. I know from personal experience, just because I used to work in the call center for our company. So I got all the incoming calls, and I can't tell you how many times people were upset because they didn't have the proper coverage, or people were so excited because they didn't have any out-of-pocket costs, So it's kind of crazy to see how much we can help them with the right plan.
Absolutely. Well, and that's an interesting perspective. So being in the call center, what would you say, top 3 or top 5 items that people would be calling in for home warranty claims? What are the most common ones you've noticed?
Yes. Well, I would definitely say HVAC systems. So your heater and your AC. I always think it's important as a buyer to test them when you're moving into the home, make sure they're working properly. Plumbing claims is another huge one. Stoppages kind of falls in that same category, and water heaters as plumbing. But stoppages happen all the time, especially during holiday season.
Yeah.
And appliances is another huge one. Because, the parts go bad, and some of their computer electronics and just need to be replaced. So I'd say those are the biggest claims that we do see.
Okay. And renewing the home warranty it's an annual basis usually? Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's usually whatever that current fee is. So it'd be similar or greater or less depending on market conditions to renew it on that annual basis, right?
Correct.
What about structural issues with the home? Is that ever covered by home warranty plans? People move in and then, some sort of settlement or anything, or that would be falling under the purview of the insurance company?
That would be the insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah. So
answering a question that maybe somebody might have out there.
Yes. So structure of the home is not covered. We cover everything within the 4 main bearing walls of the home. But, that is going to exclude the structure, the windows, the carpets, the flooring, all those things would be something that you would want to contact your homeowner's insurance for if there was an issue. Okay. But yeah, to be honest, I think what's also important is knowing who to call when you have a home warranty, because home warranties do have what's called an out-of-network protocol. Mm-hmm. So you still need to initiate the claim, call the call center. All the home warranties, including our company, have online portals, and you could submit claims online. Then you would be contacted. But making contact with your home warranty when you need to have your home service is so important. I can't tell you how many times people have called after the fact. And because you're not following the out-of-network protocol, the claim can be denied and you wouldn't see reimbursement. And that's a tragedy.
When something happens, so that's actually a great point that you bring up. So let's just say something happens in the home over the weekend. I don't know if your call center for your company specifically, if your call center is open 24/7, 7 days a week. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just say all of a sudden pipe bursts in my house and I run into the garage, I shut off the water main and I got water everywhere and, whatever. I have to figure it out. So at this point, what would be the proper steps that you would take, given that I would have a home, if I had a home warranty? How do I go about that? So I don't call my own plumber to fix this, correct? Is that, am I understanding that correctly?
You can.
Okay.
You need to call your home warranty. You need to initiate the claim. You need to have an understanding that industry standard for any home warranty, when it comes to reimbursement, they're always going to reimburse you based off of what their technicians charge for any given job. So typically we don't pay retail price. So, emergency services typically aren't something that are reimbursed, but the work itself is. So do keep in mind that if it is an emergency and you need to get someone out there, you need to get someone out there. But making sure they're licensed and insured, and that they do have fairly reasonable rates, because I mean, even, technicians, with everything that's happening right now, they are charging a lot more than what they were previously. So that is, keep in mind and call around to different technicians, kind of give a price gauge of what's going on, because just because it's most expensive, they're going to charge you the most, doesn't mean that the work is actually going to be,
any better or worse. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
Maybe let me use a less extreme example. What if like my refrigerator breaks and let's say I have a backup in the garage? Can I still contact, just a regular repair service and go back to the home warranty, or is it preferable that I contact the home warranty and they dispatch someone to service?
You can, I think the most important thing is to always contact us and let us know what's happening. Okay. If you have a preferred vendor, if you want to have someone who goes during your time and our technicians start servicing, can't service your home during the times that you need them to be available. Different situations always, occur, and you're always welcome to hire your own technician. It's just, I think the biggest thing is before they actually do the work, give us a call.
Of course.
And that way we can talk to them, ask any underwriting questions that we may have, get the pricing, and then say, okay, it's approved, go ahead and move forward with the work. And then we start the reimbursement process once we receive that paid invoice. But, again, keep in mind that we're going to go based off of what our technicians charge us for those jobs. Because even like an example is like a rekey. Like we have locksmiths to help do the rekey service that we provide. Mm-hmm. But I've received invoices for like $1,000 for a rekey, and it's just like it's crazy. Like that's a lot of money for a rekey service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just always keep in mind that you can call around, get different estimates from different technicians. I think a lot of people go based off of Yelp. And I don't think that's an accurate distinction of whether they're good technicians or not.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and $1,000 to rekey, something doesn't sound kosher there, just in general.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Okay. Well, so that's good news. So what about a situation where, something happened? I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to expand on it. If something happened where you had to call somebody out and then you got distracted with work, and only a week or 2 or 3 weeks later, you call the home warranty company like yours and say, hey, and I know this is policy specific to every company, but let's maybe touch specifically on yours. Is there a time? I know that as soon as possible, but is there like a limit that, life happens, people get sidetracked, they forget to call in. They've repaired it, but it is something that can be claimed under the home warranty. So is there a cutoff period?
No, as long as the policy is active, they have coverage. But in the sense of like what you're saying, I would say initiate the claim. If you don't get them the invoice right away, then okay. But if you don't initiate the claim and then you call them 6 months down the line, say, hey, I want to get reimbursed for this, most likely they're going to say no.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I would say is initiate the claim.
Yeah, as soon as possible, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I'm just trying to throw out realistic scenarios because this happens to me often where, work gets the best of me or something else happens in life and I just completely forget. And so I was just curious. I'm thinking of actually one of my clients that did repair something in their home recently. And I ran into them and I was like, hey, by the way, you had a home warranty. And they're like, oh, I completely forgot. And they're like, yeah, I need a call. So that's why I was thinking of that scenario and just curious, how would they be affected? But it sounds like, as long as it's not a ridiculous amount of time has elapsed, you can still get it potentially covered. Nobody's making any promises here, but generally speaking, don't stretch it for too long. If it's within a reasonable amount of time, you can still possibly get reimbursed.
I always told buyers that it's, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
You're better off asking than just assuming and doing it on your own. And that kind of leads into our executive program that we do have. So anytime an agent purchases a home warranty with Home Guard, we send a thank you email, and it also has a hyperlink to a form where you can put the buyer's information in. And that's really important for the agents to know to fill that out, because what happens is that's again our executive program. It's a concierge program where we reach out to the buyers, explain to them their contract, what's covered, how to place a claim, any questions that they may have. That way, when they run into it, needing to have a plumber out, they know who to call. Because, again, we don't want you to be the expert. We don't expect that. We want to be able to take that responsibility from you and explain that to them. So when they are, in an emergency or they need service, they know who to call. Because a lot of the time they don't realize that they have a home warranty, and they're getting their renewal call. They're like, I had no idea I had a home warranty. Yeah. So we like to make sure that they know they have the plan, they know they have coverage, and they know how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, was there anything else you feel important? It feels like we covered a lot of topics and asked a bunch of questions. Sorry, I hope I didn't overwhelm you. I hope our viewers are finding this helpful. I'm just thinking back to scenarios that, my clients have asked me, but anything else maybe that I might have missed that you feel might be important that we mentioned?
I think what's great is that with the buyer's plan, we do get the rekey service. And that's great for agents too, because I know a lot of agents typically buy the rekey themselves for the homeowners, but with most home warranties nowadays, they include the rekey coverage. So buyers use the coverage. Initiate the claim, get those locks changed. It's great. It will make you feel a lot safer, especially because you don't know who's been in the home. So utilize your
copies of the keys and all the contractors that have been there during the staging and painting and listing prep process. I always recommend to my clients to absolutely rekey. There's a couple of things I recommend. That's one of the top 5. You don't know who has a key copy. So your company provides that as part of the warranty, so they can just call in, and it would be that $85 service call?
Yes.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
Yes, it's fabulous. I mean, and another thing too is we do have optional coverages, and you could go through those. Again, those are things that you can add or take off of a plan, but those are great. So depending on the home and the budget, look over our optional coverages that you might feel are necessary for that buyer or the home. And then just, discounts. We do discounts as well. $25 off of the, if they had a home inspection or if they're military first responders. So we don't require home inspections to be done for us to place a home warranty, but we think it is important for buyers to have a copy of it. So we do provide those discounts if we want a little more wiggle room to get the best plan for them.
That's so cool. That is awesome.
If you have any questions, always reach out to your sales rep, whoever they may be. For me, call me anytime, and I'm always happy to help. How
would our clients get in touch with you if they would like to purchase a home warranty, or anyone that sees this video?
Yeah, I'd say the best way is to email me. So Sanchez, SSANCHEZ @hghw.com, or my phone number, which is 408-829-7795.
Savanah, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. This was really informative. Honestly, I didn't know some of the things that you've mentioned, so I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge so I can help my buyers better. This was really helpful. Again, my name is Mike Sinitsky, and I'm with Rise Homes. And if you have any questions about home warranties, we'll definitely leave all of that contact information below. Please reach out to Savanah, and I really appreciate your time.
Of course. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you.